majority 80% of the money which we are kind of taking it from the customer was just spent on delivering the cans. Where water is everywhere around in the city, where it is there at the customer place, it is there everywhere wherever the customer is want to use it. But why are we trying to transport water from one location to the other? That's what was the major problem we understood while we were running WaterWala, and we started off saying that why can't we purify at the customer place and give it?
Hey guys, welcome to Backstage with Millionaires. I'm Caleb, your host, and today the guests that we have on the show are Manas and Vijay. They're the co-founders of DrinkPrime, which is a startup that's making drinking water more accessible to Indians. So you guys started this up about 6 years ago now, but it didn't start as DrinkPrime, right? It started off as WaterWala. So tell me a little bit about that. Why did you decide to get into the water space?
We started off solving a personal pain point, which we, being not from the Bangalore, came here to Bangalore to start our careers, and people like us who've been majority of Bangalore, as we start our careers, we rely on this bottled water for drinking. So the whole point started off whether we wanted to know the bottled water was right for drinking, and we kind of got into the details and understood that majority of bottled water in circulation is not fit for drinking.
Are you talking about like the 20-liter bottles that
this is especially for the 20-liter cans, which is used in households.
Which is what I use as well.
Yeah, so
I don't buy like a branded bottle. It's like not Bisleri or something. Like I just use the one from the local shop that they give me.
That is the 90% of the market currently.
But now you're scaring me because you're saying that it's not fit for, like, I mean, I drink it every day, right? And I don't get sick, but like what is the problem with that water?
Right, so most of the times, right, I mean, it is not a short-term effect, it is a long-term effect because there'll be a lot of impurities getting added into the water.
Wow. Where do they source that water from, typically?
And that is what, I mean, from the reports and all, like majority is not from the right regulated ways. But I mean, you're lucky enough as you're not getting sick. I
mean, like you said, it's probably a long-term effect, right? Because when you're exposed to all of these impurities, there's like toxins, there's things that have been they're mixed into the water, maybe not enough to raise any alarms, right? It's not like, you know, there's like E. coli in your water and you're going to become violently ill, but maybe if it's like some heavy metals or like things that you're not supposed to have in your body, maybe in like 10, 20 years, you'll start to get things like cancer and other things like that. Is that?
Sure. So let me answer this, right? So bottled water, they are in majority, there are two kinds of bottled water. One is branded, which is Bisleri, led by Bisleri, and there are a couple of other brands also in that tray.
Which is pretty safe, right?
Which is safe by the time it gets bottled or by the time it leaves the bottling plant. Then we get onto that a little later. But that's just 5% of the market. 95% of the market by volume is the unbranded bottled water which you use at your home. So what happens is with the unbranded bottled water, about 85% of that category does not meet even the basic government required ISI and BIS norms. And even for the ones that do meet those norms, right? When these water bottles leave the bottling plant and by the time they reach your home, they are transported in open trucks, as you might see all across Bangalore. They're exposed to heat, dust and sunlight. And when the plastic comes in exposed to direct sunlight, the water it reacts with the water and releases chemicals which can be potentially carcinogenic.
You're talking about the plastic, right?
Yes, and also there are a lot of times when the water bottle itself is dirty. Sometimes there are floating elements inside water. Sometimes sometimes the cap itself or the seal is leaking and various other things.
So that's how we started WaterWala. We wanted to address that problem, and we started off being a platform where customers can order bottled water, and we had verified vendors who are partnered with our platform to come and deliver the water cans. So the add-on which we got into the system is we started verifying the vendors and we started curating the quality of water, and that's where was the major advantage which WaterWala got into the system. As we started getting customers, I mean, we had just in a span of 6 months, we had close to 10,000 customers.
What?
So, and it was mostly on an organic growth, and that too we did.
Word of mouth.
It was just, I mean, we did a pamphlet promotion for 10 days in an area, and it typically grew. automatically. And that's where we understood the need of the hour. I mean,
Yeah.
so people were looking for a solution. I mean, they wanted a solution to solve their problems.
And the great thing about water is that we all need it, right? I mean, it's something that everybody needs, and we all purchase it. I don't know, I mean, there are probably people out there that use well water and water that's free, but I think typically a majority of, I don't know if you know the statistic on that, like what the percentage of Indians that are drinking, like that are purchasing water versus the ones that are just filling up from a well or a pump or something?
Yes. Let's talk about the people in urban India and how they manage their drinking water, right?
Sure.
The top 5% own some kind of a water purifier at their home, own and maintain a water purifier at their home. Then there are about 30-35% of the population which sort of relies on bottled water. Then another 20% relies on government initiatives for drinking water, which would be those municipal water ATMs. And in addition to that, a few people also rely on boiling water or under purification methods, which is gravity-based water purifiers or UV-based water purifiers. And then a good 30% or even more people just cannot afford any of these.
So they just, what do? They just open the tap and let it pour out of the tap, or?
Yes, sometimes they do that. Sometimes they rely on...
They put a cloth just to remove the mud.
Yes.
Oh, so the mud, you're saying like from a river or something?
No. So most of the people would have access to a municipal tap at least. Yeah. Otherwise, they would not be able to live in a particular area. But even then also, they bring the water, they sort of filter it through a piece of cloth, or they sort of boil it and then they consume it.
But probably there's a lot of impurities in that water, right?
Yes, obviously. I mean, the visible impurities are not there, but there are a lot of impurities which are not visible.
Sure, but of course, cloth is not really going to do much. Probably anything which is, small enough that it can't be seen is not going to be stopped by a cloth. But that's not what you were trying to solve with WaterWala, right? You were just sort of targeting what, like the people that are in that, you said 30 to
35%, yes.
Right, exactly,
yes.
who are buying these bottled water, but then in transportation it's getting sort of corrupted by the sunlight and exposure to the elements, and then eventually that seeps into your drinking water.
Correct. So there were a couple of problems that we are trying to solve, and it was primarily for people like us. So we didn't know any better, so we started with a product which would solve problems for people like us, and that was the 35% of people. So number one was obviously pure drinking water. Number two is there's a lot of hassle that is associated with bottled water, which would mean that whenever your water bottle gets empty, you would have to call your nearby kirana store. And let us say you reach home late from office someday and the shop is closed. What do you do then? Then another scenario is if you or someone is there alone at your home, you would have to invite that guy right into your kitchen to overturn that bottle, and a lot of other hassles associated with it.
This is so funny that you're bringing this up, because literally this morning, my fiance and I woke up and we called the guy, the shop. We said, we need water, we need it now. We're both, going off to work in an hour, and he never showed up. And we were just about to leave for work, and I'm like, did he come yet? And she's like, no. And then we just said, okay, well, I guess we'll have to wait till tomorrow, because we both get back too late that, we can't even order the water. And then there was about 10,000 people that were interested in.
So the major part was, this was all, again, we were moonlighting. We were having our day jobs, and in the evening we kind of created this platform, and the weekends we kind of started this. And as we grew, right, and as the number of customers grew, we understood the seriousness and tried to look into the market. We saw that there is a 40 million households reliant on bottled water in the urban India. And that's what was a very big challenge which we wanted to take it, and we jumped it full time to solve this problem. So that's how the journey started of WaterWala, and we started expanding into multiple areas.
So it sounds like things were going well, but obviously the company is not called WaterWala, it's now called DrinkPrime. So what was the reason for that pivot? Did you guys face some challenges along the way?
Majority, 80% of the money which we are kind of taking it from the customer was just spent on delivering the cans. Where water is everywhere around in the city, where it is there at the customer place, it is there everywhere wherever the customer is want to use it. But why are we trying to transport water from one location to the other? That's what was the major problem we understood while we were running WaterWala, and we started off saying that why can't we purify at the customer place and give it? And that's where the transformation, the pivot happened to DrinkPrime.
And when did that happen? What year, sorry?
So this was in, we ran WaterWala for 2 years, and 2016 August was the time when we kind of switched a model, flipped a model. We trying to target the same problem, but with a different and an efficient solution.
Okay, and what was that solution?
Sure. So when we figured out that a point of use water purification would be the best possible solution to our customers, we again went back to our customers and asked them, why are more people not buying water purifiers? India is a country where water purifiers have been around. I mean, when I say water purifier, I would mean a reverse osmosis based able water purification system has been around for the last 20 years. Still, if you look at it, less than 5% of urban Indian homes today have a water purifier at their home. Why is that? So a couple of reasons, right? Number one is the products were expensive. Number two is because they were pushed through the traditional dealer distributor demo network, which sort of led to the channel increasing a lot of cost to the product, and the products were expensive. Number two is the cost of maintaining the water purifier was expensive, and most of our users did not know how long they would stay at a particular home, and if they have to shift, they would have to shift the water purifier. If they're changing cities, all of these sort of led to a proposition which was very cumbersome and very full of hassle for our users. So that is the reason why many people were simply opting for the option which has the least inertia, which is bottled water.
So that's the problem that you guys realized was there in the market. But what was the solution then? What did you guys actually do when you transitioned from WaterWala to DrinkPrime?
We kind of took a 1 year time to build up our own water purifier from scratch, which is an IoT enabled water purifier, which monitors the quality and quantity of water, and to make sure that each drop of water which is drunk by the customer is safe. So we kind of built the whole product from scratch.
That's a year where you're not making money from WaterWala?
Yes.
You're basically just sitting there, you're spending money every month for your own rent, your expenses, you're developing this new product. How did you guys even survive?
We shrink down the team, again came back to 2 people, where the founders, and started working at homes and started building the things and taking the help of people. I mean, coming from our backgrounds, I am from ISI and Manas is from a reputed MBA college. So kind of we use the professors' help and try to build the whole product. So from our college professors and everything, we kind of use the labs. We kind of, the colleges were kind enough to give the access, and that's how we kind of cost cut the things, everything, and kind of build the product.
And then you finished developing the product, and then you just sort of launched it right away into the market.
Yeah, so basically we kind of went to a dealer which was there, who was a water purifier dealer in Bangalore, and who was struggling to sell. And that's where we kind of started tying up with him, because I mean, to build a water purifier, we didn't have capital to start pushing it, and we kind of got in a dealer who kind of works with us in a revenue sharing model. So where he invests the capital for the water purifier, and we kind of split the revenues. We do the service aspect and we split the revenues.
Wow. And what has the journey been like since that point? Because, you know, at that point, I think your model has changed probably. Are you still working with the same guy, or
instead of just interacting with the dealer, we straightway started interacting with the OEMs, and we started getting more and more into the ecosystem, wherein each of the filter that goes into our product is customized and specifically made to our needs. And we in turn, traditionally water purifiers are made in such a way that they would require more frequent maintenance, and so that water purifier companies can benefit of charging customers for that maintenance. We are sort of trying to flip the model, wherein we work with OEMs to make products which would require less maintenance.
As we were scaling up, right, I mean, the traditional distributor which we are tied up, he also had a personal limit, where though we were having an excess of orders, we were not able to serve because the capital for the even though he was making money, but he had a limitation. So that's where what was one of the first bottlenecks. We kind of, how do we scale that? So that's what, as we started moving, as we reached 500 customers, this bottleneck kind of arose, where we had 300 customers waiting for our product, but we didn't had resources or the product to ship it to the customer. So that's where we kind of understood that we try to went back to the investments. When people, where do they invest money? So that's where we understood that a lot of people invest in their banks and to be safe, and they also want to do equity investment or mutual funds investment to get a better returns. Then in the same way, we wanted to do that. Why can't we use that money to get this purifier invested? So that's where we kind of started a proposition called AMP, which is Asset Management Program. So what we do as part of that is people who have who wants to invest for debt, we kind of take the money and we kind of take the devices, say, with the money, and then make sure that the devices are rolled out to the customer, and we kind of do a revenue share. So before, the model was the only dealer was doing. Now we have opened up to the market where whoever is there in the debt investors can really kind of put in this model and try to scale it up. And as we scale, we had a lot of HNIs who kind of work like the product, and also returns who kind of join in. And right now we have lending card, we have NBFCs, couple of NBFCs also working with us, and we have also venture debt guys also started working us in this proposition, and which is giving very good returns, very good comparable market returns.
So our customers, a proportion to our customers is fairly simple. Our customers do not have to pay anything for the device, do not have to pay us anything for the cost of installing the device, do not have to pay us anything for periodically maintaining the device, including the cost of spares and labor. They just have to pay us a small subscription fee each month for the amount of pure water that they draw out of the device. So that's sort of the business model in which we operate, and the end objective is the customer should get the easiest solution to one of the most fundamental problems, which is drinking water.
And I think that's a great proposition. I mean, if you approached me and you told me that, it makes a lot of sense. I pay based on what I drink, right? It's
and
simple.
That's what exactly my customers are doing today. So it sort of becomes a no-brainer for them to switch from whatever else they're using for drinking water to DrinkPrime.
Exactly, and that's what I'm doing now. Using myself as an example, I'm part of that 30-35% of people that are purchasing these 20-liter bottles, and I'm paying every drop of water that I drink. That factors into the 50 rupee price point that I pay for that, right? But then again, it's not necessarily the most pure, the most healthy, the most safe water. So if I were to go and switch to DrinkPrime from my local water vendor, then all of a sudden I'm getting those benefits as well.
So we have made the process as simple as possible for a user like you to come onto our platform, right? You just have to go onto our website, fill in a couple of your details, and we will give you a call. We will explain to you more about the product, and we'll sort of suggest a plan which suits your drinking water requirements, which means a plan which is customized according to how much water you consume. And it starts from as low as just 300 rupees a month.
That's pretty good. I'm thinking probably I end up using probably like a bottle a week, which is 50 rupees. So then if you multiply that by 4, then it ends up coming to like 200. So I'm paying an extra 100 rupees and I'm getting safe, clean drinking water.
Without any hassles.
Without any hassles. Wow.
So on an average, in the market, right, people on 4 people family, they typically they order close to 12 to 15 bottles a month. So which typically comes to more than 500 rupees per customer per household. So that's what is the current market. In the current format. They typically consume 250 plus liters, and they typically pay more than 500 per month. And that's where this solution is also more catchy and more safer in a way, and also it is part of the affordable bracket to the customer. And the fact of the matter is, like, as we are scaling up, right, we get 40% of the customers just from referrals and organic. So that shows the adaptability of the product, and how it is relevant to him. So that's how we keep growing our customers.
Okay, so you've got 5,000 customers. You've sort of solved a lot of the problems that you were initially facing, for example, your business model. But I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you're still just based out of Bangalore, right? And you're only serving people within Bangalore. So what are the next steps for the company look like? Are you going to go sort of like, are you aiming to go pan-India, or like you're trying to increase the number of customers that you're serving? Like what is the next, year, 2, 3 years? What do those look like for you?
So we are catering to a market of about 40 million households in India alone that are currently reliant on bottled water. Our intention, or the near-term target, is to reach to a 1 million households, and the entire market size is about $4 billion. So we want to be the leader in the geography that we operate in. So we have found a good product market fit here in Bangalore, and our customers do love us. So we want to leverage that and sort of become the market leader in Bangalore. So the market leader in Bangalore today does about 2,000 new households each month. We are certain that we would sort of overtake that in the next 6 months' time, and that would be the time when we focus on other major cities in India. And the aim is to reach to 1 million households in the next 3 years across the top 10 cities of India.
As we are doing that, right, I mean, from the inception to now, we have been learning a lot about water. So it is more on the drinking water side, and also we have been understanding how the water infrastructure in a city is. We have a couple of sensors in our water purifier which actually measures what is your input quality of water and what is the output quality, and we have been getting a lot of data into it, and we have been understanding more and more understanding. And as the data points we started collecting, we found that 60% of the diseases which people, right, they are related to water. They are related to water problems. And if you see hair fall, whatever, I mean, the skin kind of diseases are all due to the input water. So kind of we've been also thinking about it and also brainstorming as we scale to the million. We also want to solve many other problems which are related to water in an urban India.
Yeah, water is actually, now that I think about it, it's really in the news quite a bit, right? Either there's a shortage of it, or it's in places where it doesn't belong, right? As the sea levels rise, and they're talking about, what is it, like 2050, like tons of Indian cities are going to be underwater, but then at the same time, within the country itself, people are going to be running out of water, right? They're talking about, I don't know if is it like 2022 or something? Like certain cities are going to be completely reliant upon like water trucks, and there won't be any water within the city.
The best part about is actually, I mean, as you go deeper into, right, there are also solutions which really can solve the problems. Like there are a lot of technologies where they talk about how do I extract water from the humidity and try to give it. So if there is no water source in any of the area, there are a lot of technologies where it pulls water from the air and starts giving water to the customer. So there are a lot of bean technologies, but the major problem is, though the technologies are there, the kind of accessibility and availability to the common people is kind of missing, and that's where we want to make this a platform or a solution for giving water accessible to everyone.
Well, I wish you guys all the best in solving this massive problem that India is facing. I think water is extremely important to our lives. And so I'm really glad that there's someone out there who's, trying to actually create a solution.
That's why we call our product DrinkPrime. I mean, we want our customers to drink the most safest water.
Okay, so that's the high quality, premium, safe water that's the prime in DrinkPrime.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
So if you guys want to know more about Vijay or Manas, their journey as entrepreneurs, or about their startup, DrinkPrime, I'm going to be putting a couple of links down below. You can go check those out. And if you have any questions for them personally, just leave that down below as a comment. And then if there's a couple of good ones, I'll probably just reach out to you guys and ask you to respond to some of the best ones, if there's a couple.
Absolutely.
Would love it if you guys could share this video as well with anybody that you think would be interested in it, maybe a wannabe entrepreneur, budding entrepreneur, or someone who's just interested in startups in general. Thank you for watching this episode, and thank you so much, guys, for coming on the show. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. How can I get signed up with DrinkPrime?